Matt Slick Live. Matt is the founder and president of the Christian Apologetics Research Ministry, found online at carm.org. When you have questions about Bible doctrines, turn to Matt Slick Live for answers. Taking your calls and responding to your questions at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Everybody, welcome to the show. It's me, Matt Slick. You're listening to Matt Slick Live. Today's date is July 2nd, 2024. I hope you're all having a good day and getting ready for the nice holiday weekend, 4th of July. Now, I will not be on the air Thursday and Friday. We're taking the rest of the week off, but I will be on tomorrow. So, if you want to give me a call, now's the time, or tomorrow, 877-207-2276. And you can also email me, info@carm.org, and just put in the subject line radio comment or radio question. And there we go. Everything's working fine. All right. So, hey, we could talk about some stuff. I did some research on a baptism issue and updated an article today. Talk about that a little bit. It was really interesting. And we'll get on some other stuff too as well. But before we do that, let's get to Buskman from Dayton, Ohio. Buskman, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, happy Tuesday to you, Mr. Slick. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm all right. Little melancholy, but okay.
You know, that reminds me of the verses, Matt, that talks about the more wisdom we get and the more gray hair, I think the Proverbs talk about, doesn't it? And it's like, I know exactly what you're going through, brother. It's amazing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes. We could whine about our old age and what it means to be fatigued and, but I'm working it. I'm trying. Anyway, so what do you got?
Well, thanks for everything that you do, Matt.
Sure.
I mean, really, I love you on Truth Talk Radio Network out here in 106.5, the Toledo, Dayton area. So I just want to say thanks. And I told you, brother, I would give you a report if you remember. I called into the show and said that I was going to go down to a very large Pride event.
Ooh, yeah.
That normally is, I mean, really, Matt, it's just gigantic, and it's almost like Sodom and Gomorrah. The last time I was there, which was 2019, it was just an X-rated show right in public, children walking around.
Yeah.
So in preparation of what I might see, Matt, I went ahead and contacted our local authorities, the county sheriff, the city police department, sent them letters and such. Even contacted, Matt, the organizers of this event through their website. And I said, I would love to sit down with you and talk Jesus to you via scripture. When I went down, Matt, one of the things that caught my eye was the three churches, sir, that were in complete support of LGBTQI plus ideology and perspective. I did not talk to any of these women. Matt,
wait. Hold on. You said three churches, didn't talk to these women. So who were these women that you suddenly brought up?
These women.
Huh?
The women, one of them claimed to be the pastor of one of the local churches. And what I meant, Matt, was that women were manning, pardon the pun, the booth, the three church representation booths that was at this festival.
Okay.
And so at my first observance, I was like, wow, okay, it's all women. And then number two that I noticed was that the predominant sex that was there were women, Matt. I thought that to be odd, but and the men were all in tail of the women. If I saw them walking down the main strip here in this little village, it was the women first and then male first. And these are just observations that I made. I was in my Ask Me About Jesus t-shirt that on the back, it said that on the front. And then on the back, it said, God loves you so much that he sent Jesus to save you from yourself. Do you believe this?
Wow.
That was on the back of my shirt. And I was walking through the crowd, Matt. It was awesome. One man did stop me. Well, I did talk to one man about the Lord Jesus Christ, which was awesome.
Good.
He did not make a commitment vow, but it was just really good to see him kind of come to light, if you will. And I loved those people. I did not have any attitudes of hatred or
Right.
going to hell. There was a group down there that was doing that. They had their posters, they had their megaphone, they were yelling at people. But when I walked by them, Matt,
When you walk by, I think we lost you. When you walk by, oh, maybe we lost.
Sorry, my Bluetooth just cut through. Yeah, when I walked by, they said, "Why do you hate us?" to the street preachers, and the street preachers said back, "Because we don't want you to go to hell. We don't."
Hey,
And they
breaking.
didn't yell it,
Yeah.
which was odd. Yeah,
Okay.
it was amazing their response, how they responded to these people. The other thing I noticed, Matt, was this: that they had these pride men dressed up as women playing rock songs. Matt, they couldn't get the crowd going. I mean, they tried, but they couldn't get the people up dancing and everything. The other thing I noticed was that this little village draws a pretty good crowd anyway. I would say only 1% more than a regular Saturday was there. So I called another friend who come down as well, who was going to minister, and he called me. He said, "Busman," he says, "this is a nothing burger down here." He says, "Everybody's appropriate. The police are everywhere. Everybody was appropriately dressed. There was none of that shenanigan going on that I remembered in 2019. The crowd was smaller, way smaller, Matt. I mean, when I went down there in 2019, you could not park within a mile of this place. You had to walk a mile just to get into the village.
Wow.
Well, I could have parked downtown this year, but I was anticipating that mile walk. So
Okay.
I parked far away and actually took a battery-powered scooter down with my backpack on through the bike path
Mm-hmm.
to get me into the village. But I didn't need that.
Okay.
And so what I left away from, Matt, was that this thing is starting to lose steam. These pride events are starting to lose steam. And I give God all the credit, all the glory. I prayed and prayed both before and after this event, Matt. And I'll be honest, I was pleased with what I saw and what I experienced, sir.
Wow. Well, good. Good. Well, they have one here in a month or two, and I'm going to go. So hopefully it'll be the same thing. Maybe it'll be dying. But here in Boise, because I don't know how it is, I guess it's the same kind of latitude. But when winter's over, people get out and they have fun, and they like to do that. So maybe they'll still be going. I don't know. But anyway, something to check out. So good for you, man.
Definitely go. And I would say this to head off any impropriety. This is what we did. Go to your Ohio. Well, I was going to say Ohio. Go through your Idaho code and see what the sex offenders laws are. The pandering, obscenity to minors, that kind of thing, and go ahead and alert your county sheriff and your city's police department chief. That's what we did, and we just sent them nice letters with those codes. As part of the letter saying, "Hey, this is what we know in Ohio." You could say, "This is what we know in Idaho. We just want you to enforce the law if there's any impropriety." Because our main heart really was to first evangelize, obviously, the Great Commission,
Right.
but to protect the sight of the little ones that they can't unsee, Matt. We were dead set on making sure that the law was enforced, that the little ones don't see something that they have to unsee later or that could cause them trauma later. And I am happy to announce here from Busman, the Busman report is it was a nothing burger. Everybody was dressed. They were all in rainbow, but everybody was dressed. There was some of the teens, Matt, were wearing stuff a little bit too short, if you will, but there was no impropriety. I was very pleased, man, and I'm glad to report that to you at Matt Slick Live and on the Truth Network here in the Ohio area.
Okay.
So,
I'm looking at some of the.
Go in the strength that you have that day.
Yeah, we're going to find out. I'm looking at some of the comments in Rumble, and one person's asking if there are any drag queens there. Were there?
There were, and not only were there drag queens there, but there was a band of them playing on a stage.
Okay.
And those were the ones I was referring to that said they could not get the crowd, really energized and excited. I mean, I saw a few people clapping along, but my goodness, guys, it looked so weird and just kind of, pathetic. These guys dressed up as very gaudy women,
It's sick.
outlandish makeup and wigs on. It just, yeah. I think people in their logic was like, this really isn't entertaining, is it? I mean, those are
gross.
Men dressed up as strange looking women singing these old rock songs.
Yeah, it's gross.
And so,
well, let me ask you.
So
not ask you.
Was.
Another comment from Laura, who says in Provo, that's BYU area, there are more pride flags, BLM flags, rainbow stuff
Sure.
than anywhere else close to them. It's been comments. People, it's an important issue, and it's sad that the perversion of this kind of thing is promoted, and our country is so lost. It's horrible. Yeah, it is. But good for you, man.
Well, what went through my mind, Matt? What went through my mind was when Paul went to Athens. I believe it was Athens, and he was looking over all these Athenians' religious statues, and he finds the tomb of the unknown God. And I am not kidding, actually, because I was heading towards into the village prior, as I left the house, and it was prior before I got there. I got this sense of these poor, deceived people are crying out for any and all gods to satisfy them. If they're willing to cut themselves, to gaud themselves up as the opposite sex in very outlandish costumes, Matt, my heart.
Your heart. We lost you again. Okay, we'll give another few seconds here. But while we're waiting for that, ladies and gentlemen, that's a great thing he did. Okay, now we got you back.
In the book of Acts.
Okay, yeah, we lost you there for 10 seconds.
I'm sorry. I'm in a kind of a weird area. But yes, where Paul was talking to the Athenians about the unknown God. Let me tell you about this unknown God. That kind of eclipsed my heart of I want to get back at these people for what they're doing to our culture. I kind of sense pity, Matt, because they're crying out so desperately in public for a satisfaction that is fleeting. They do not have the peace of the living God living in their hearts yet. So they just keep trying more and more gods. Maybe if I try this, maybe if I dress up like a woman, I will be at peace. But I'll tell you, Matt, I went in there with a state of pity, a heart state of pity, and I was able to talk to these people and relate to them. I believe that taught me something, honestly, Matt, about these people. I realized they're people that Jesus died for, and that they are deceived so bad that they're willing to try anything to find a God that will provide them the peace and the stability and the tranquility that Jesus Christ offers all humanity. So, so I probably learned more going down there than probably the one man that I did tell about Jesus Christ to.
Well, good for you. Yeah, good for you, because we need more people doing what you're doing, and that's good. And when I go down to the events, it's the same kind of thing. It's just it's sad to see what they're looking for and what they're finding. Maybe Jesus. Hey, man, there's the music. We got to get going. But God bless, Buskman. God bless. Really good job, man. Good job.
God bless you, Matt. Thank you.
All right. God bless.
God bless.
Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. Give me a call, 877-207-2276.
You give life. You are love. You bring light to the darkness. You give hope. You restore every heart that is broken.
The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. The righteous person may have many troubles, but God is there every time. Your truth for today.
Oh, praise my soul. God really loves us.
Yes, God really loves us. But for a lot of people, our attachment to the past outweighs our commitment to the future. We have to stop looking back and start looking forward. The Truth Network encourages you to forget the past, face it, and move on with the love of Jesus Christ.
Two symbols of freedom stand tall, the cross and the flag. Which one is more important?
True Commentary with Stu Epperson, author of the book, Last Words of Jesus.
Happy Independence Day. Let freedom ring. Let the cookouts and the celebrations, the fireworks begin. You think about July 4th, we celebrate the independence of the flag, the religious freedom we celebrate. People died so we could live in this free country. Yet as you think about true freedom on a deeper level, at a higher level, the cross stands above any flag, because no flag can purchase eternal freedom and forgiveness from sin. That's why we should always, as Christians, put the cross before the flag. Thank God for his cross that gives us ultimate freedom. May you know the one who came and died so we could live with him forever.
True Commentary with Stu Epperson, author of the book, Last Words of Jesus. Available now in bookstores. Learn more at lastwordsofjesus.com.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly,
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. If you want to give me a call, all you need to do is dial 877-207-2276. I'm curious if any of you saw the debate. We put the link up on the CARM site that I was in last week and a half ago, on the charismatic gifts. We'd just like some feedback on that if you feel like it. If not, no big deal. But curious about that. Let's get to Elijah from Pennsylvania. Elijah, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Matt. My question today. I'll start out with this question because it leads into my main question. In Deuteronomy, when Moses prophesied about the prophet that's to come,
Right.
that's referring to Jesus, right?
Yes. That's right.
Okay. So I was reading John chapter 1 today, and I got to the verses between verses 20 through 24, and in 20, 21, and 20.
I think we lost you. In verses 20, keep going on. We don't hear you. So we'll keep stalling here a little bit. But it gets back on the air. Hopefully he will. I don't hear him.
Like to point this out.
Okay, well,
And,
we lost you for like 15, 20 seconds. So go ahead. Start again. You're starting at John 1:20 through 24. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in verse 20, John the Baptist said he's not the Messiah. In verse 21, he also says that he is not Elijah and he's not the prophet.
Right.
And then the Jews asked him again about this, between the Messiah, Elijah, and the prophet. And Muslims like to point this out because they say, well, if the prophet in Deuteronomy is referring to Jesus, like you say, then how come here in these verses, the scriptures are making a clear distinction between the Messiah and the prophet? And Muslims like to say that the prophet here is clearly not the Messiah because there's a distinction. So the prophet here is referring to Muhammad that's to come.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard this argument before?
No, probably not. So let me get this straight. So they're saying that the word prophet there in verse 21 refers to Muhammad, right? Okay.
Yeah, because they're saying that Christians like to say that the prophet that's to come is referring to the Messiah, but here it's making a distinction between the prophet and the
Okay.
Messiah, and so the
All right.
argument is that it's referring to Muhammad, not Jesus.
Well, then the way to refute that idea is just simply read what this says. They said to him, "Well, then who are you?" So that we may give an answer. And he says, "I'm a voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord." So what he's doing is quoting Isaiah 40, verse 3. Very critical, because what it says in the Hebrew is make straight the way of Yahweh. That's the name of God. So if you go to, for example, Mark 1, as it is written, verse 2, as it is written in Isaiah the prophet, behold, I send a messenger ahead of you who will prepare your way, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make ready the way of Yahweh. That's a quote from the Old Testament. That's John the Baptist who's making a way, the path of Yahweh. So you ask them, is Muhammad Yahweh? No, he's not. Well, that's who he's making the path for. So he's the prophet, as Isaiah the prophet said. So how can that be Muhammad if the text is referring to the one who's coming as God himself? Okay.
Right. Yeah. 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 I see what you're saying there.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of people don't know that, but this is Mark and this verse are demonstrations of that Jesus Christ is God in flesh. Because the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make ready the way of Yahweh. Who did John the Baptist make? You ask him, who did he make ready? The path ready for? Well, Jesus. Okay, so that's the prophecy, right? Yes. Make the path ready for the Lord, right? And say, yeah. Well, the word Lord there in Hebrew is Yahweh, the very name of God, which occurs 6,517 times in the Old Testament. So how is that then the prophet who's coming? How is it Muhammad if the prophet that John the Baptist is preparing for is Yahweh? Okay.
Yeah. And I have another question. Do you know a good companion verse with John chapter 8, where Jesus said multiple times, before Abraham was, I am, and that's a good verse to show Jesus' pre-existence, to show that he's not just a man like Muslims like to say.
Yes. Then you go to yes.
Yeah.
John 6:37 through 40. Okay. John 6:37 through 40. Jesus says, all the Father gives me will come to me. The one who comes to me, I certainly will not cast out, for I have come down from heaven, not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. And you ask him, was Jesus in heaven with God? Ask him that. And he says, this is the will of him who sent me, that all that he's given me, I lose nothing. Now, what you need to do then is cross-reference this in the Quran with Surah 4:171. And it says there that, O people of the book, that's the Bible, commit no excess in your religion, nor say of Allah aught but the truth. Christ Jesus, the son of Mary, was no more than an apostle of Allah and his word. Even the Quran calls Jesus the word. That's in Surah 4:171. So you can go to John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Who was it? Who's the Word who became flesh, according to Surah 4:171? That has to be Jesus. And the Bible calls him, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. And he says he came down from heaven. So who is this Mr. Muslim that he's speaking of here? Who is called God? Your book says is the Word. The Bible says is the Word that was equivalent to God. Okay?
Yeah, that's a great cross-reference. But I had another cross-reference.
Sure.
That I think you'll find interesting as well. In the same chapter, John chapter 1, in verse 30, John the Baptist says, "This is the one about whom I said, after me comes a man who ranks above me.
For he existed before me. You're
And
breaking
the
up.
Baptist says that Jesus pre-existed.
Well, then you have to ask them, what does it mean that he pre-existed? You got to see what they say, because the Bible does teach that Jesus pre-existed. Absolutely. And here's just another verse that's just, well, I mean, I won't get into that. There's other stuff you can go to. I know this topic a lot, but those are some of the things you can do with the Muslims. So they have a preconceived idea that the prophet is Muhammad. And the Bible never prophesies about Muhammad except in the context of saying false prophets will come. So if you want to go to the issue of John 1:20 through 23, where he's talking about John the Baptist, the coming prophet, that's the one who's bearing the prophet there is identified as being God. That can't be Muhammad. Okay, buddy? There's a break. You want to hang or are we done?
Okay.
Okay? Okay, buddy.
Hang.
Hold on, okay? Hey, folks, be right back after these messages. If you want, give me a call, 877-207-2276. We'll be right back.
My name is Judy Teeter, and I'm the mother of 3 boys. My youngest, Joe, was a great kid. He loved sports, music, and his youth group. One day, Joe asked me to drive him to an after-school event, which was about a mile from our home. I was driving through a green light when a car in cross traffic ran a red light and drove right into the side of our car, killing Joe. The driver was talking on her phone, so she never even saw the red light. She was so absorbed in her phone call. Before the crash, I didn't realize just talking on a cell phone while driving was so dangerous. Now it's something I think about every day. According to the National Safety Council, about 1 in 4 car crashes involves a cell phone. Hands-free is no safer. When you're behind the wheel, put away your phone. For Joe and for the thousands of needless deaths every year. Remember, there is no safe way to talk on a cell phone while driving. Find out more at nsc.org/callskill.
From Love Worth Finding Ministries, here's pastor, teacher, and author Dr. Adrian Rogers with a treasure from the Word.
God provided a Messiah. Jesus was not a divine man. He was not a human God. He was the God-man. Perfect humanity and perfect deity. How do we know he was not just another wild-eyed fanatic? How do we know he was not just another religious teacher, some guru? I'll tell you how we know he walked out of that tomb. Well, you say, well, how do we know he did that? It's a good question. He showed himself alive by many infallible proofs, and people with good minds, far better than mine or yours, have said that there is inescapable evidence that Jesus Christ came out of that grave. More evidence than the Julius Caesar ever lived. And to say that Jesus Christ did not rise from the dead is to fly in the face of sheer reason, apart from revelation. He rose, came out of that grave.
For more about Love Worth Finding and Adrian Rogers, visit our website at lwf.org.
May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Because the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Everybody, welcome back to the show. We're at the bottom of the hour. If you want to give me a call, 877-207-2276. Elijah, you still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
All right, man. Okay. So where were we?
Yeah, we was talking about Jesus, Jesus' pre-existence and how Muslims think that he's the prophet to come. But I had another question. So have you ever heard of this interpretation before within the Christian community. You have the Seventh Day Adventists, which I believe is called the idealist or the historist interpretation of Revelation. I can't remember which one it was, but I saw this one Seventh Day Adventist video where the guy was interpreting Revelation 9, and he had a highly allegorical interpretation where he believed that whole chapter is prophesying about the rise of Islam and Muhammad, and there's this other interpretation from this other denomination of Christianity that's lesser known. I can't remember the name of it, but they believe that the false prophet in Revelation 13 is Muhammad. So, have you ever heard of these?
No, I haven't. But I wouldn't trust the SDA. The Seventh Day Adventist is basically a cult. Okay. Seriously. Are you there? And we lost him again.
I think I lost you for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust what the SDA say. Many people consider it a non-Christian cult. It is cultic in its official doctrines, but there are groups within SDA that are pretty that can have their foot inside of orthodoxy. But so when they say this, they do a lot of eschatological studies, and they try and get people into their cult by getting them entranced in this. So, but it doesn't mean that their interpretations are automatically false. So I'd have to look at that to see. There are some new theories coming out that the Antichrist may be a Muslim, and there's some interesting stuff about that. So, but other than that, I haven't studied it with that in mind to see. Okay.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, you just brought that back to my remembrance. Because in Islam, there's this man that's supposed to come in Islamic end time prophecy. He's called the Mahdi, I think, and he's supposed to come and like bring like world peace and all that stuff. Right. And some Muslims who left that religion, who are not Christians, now believe that the Mahdi is actually the Antichrist.
Yep. Yes, that's it's a known theory, and it's gained prominence in the past few decades. And it might be the case because Muslims are highly intolerant. They might accept a Muslim-based leader, where the apostate Christians and the Jews might then, just because they want peace, they might agree. And then you have a world leader in Jerusalem who's a Muslim and who allows the rebuilt temple of Jerusalem to be built. And I've been there. I've been to the side of Jerusalem, the mosque. There's plenty of room in the area in order to build something. So for the Jews. So it may be the case, but we don't know. Okay.
Yeah, and also, studying Islamic end time theology, it seems that they've borrowed a lot, like from the Bible, because like in Islam end time theology, they also say that there's going to be this literal beast that I think rises out of the earth. But in Christianity, in Revelation 13, it's a symbolic beast, not literal. So I just find that interesting that they have some similarities.
There are debates about that within Christianity, but if it's literal or what. And so I wouldn't say overall everybody says it's not literal, but some say that the beast is the Antichrist. Some say the beast is the Catholic Church. Who knows? It could be. I've heard stuff like the beast is an AI, artificial intelligence, but I don't know. And some say that it might be an actual spiritual creature that is manifested. So there's some stuff I've read that's quite varied. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yes, it is. Yeah, what you should do is write up, the stuff that you see, different sources. If you can find those sources on the web, you send them to me, because I'm always looking for new information. Like on a buried Muslim website someplace, they quote something that's not very common. I have to look at that kind of stuff and run down the documentation, because the Hadith is humongous, And sometimes they'll reference something out of the Hadith, and they'll give a comment in the Arabic, and it'll bring out the truth in it. And so I'm always looking for things like that. So if you ever find stuff, you put it together, you send it to me. I'd love to see it. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. All right, man. We'll keep up the good work, buddy. All right.
All right, thanks.
All
Have
right.
a good one.
You too. God bless. All right. Hey, give me a call. 877-207-2276. Let's get to Jamal from North Carolina. Welcome. You're on the air.
Good day, Matt. Thank you for taking my call. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and I've been enjoying your shows as usual.
Oh, praise God, man. Praise God.
Thanks, sir. I wanted to ask maybe a simple question, mainly just for the audience benefit and for my benefit as well. We have more people, unfortunately, especially people in Hollywood, embracing Satanism. So if you wouldn't mind, would you let us know about how bad Satanism is?
Well, there's varying degrees of Satanism. There are some who actually worship the being Satan, and there are reports of actual manifestations of demonic forces and presence. Within these movements, there are accounts, and I'm going to say this carefully because there are children who might be listening. There are accounts of females who are bred for certain purposes and bearing children and stuff. And so let's let your imagination run wild on that. There, on the other end of the scale, there are those who say they follow in Satanism, and they don't believe in a real demonic entity, but they believe in serving one's self and one's pleasures as the ultimate goal. So between those extremes, there are a variety also within that movement, or that broad umbrella. But within Hollywood, let's just say that that I've talked to two people who were involved in Hollywood, and one, I'll just give you the stories, won't give you too much details. One person said that she met the taxi driver. I'm so bad with names. The guy who played the taxi driver. You looking at me?
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro. Thank you. I remember numbers. I always have to with names. And so she told me how she knew him, and that he was invited to a certain party, and that she wanted to go. She's a good-looking woman, and she wanted to go, and he said, "No, you don't want to go to this kind of party." And the implication was a lot of weird stuff was going on there. Another person I talked to who was involved in Hollywood in a support staff issue was invited to varying, I'm going to be careful how I say this on the air, varying group parties, let's just say very generically, and what happens in those, and declined, of course. And so it was very prominent and very practiced there. So
could I say
sure.
A group party that has kind of romantic
Yes.
implications?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
That the pagan Greeks and Romans would do. So this kind of stuff, and that there's a lot of that going on. And then in some areas, there's supposedly, I gotta be careful how I say this, because there's a lot of stuff where, I can always say this generically, where young ones are kept, and things are done to them in order to extract adrenaline out of them so that it can be used and injected to others. And yeah, these are things I can't talk about over the air like this, but there's real evil going on. And we were talking, a friend of mine last night, we're talking about abductions, not the UFO kind, and what's going on in that, and the trade that's happening. That's the only thing I would ever give up my ministry for, to go after those people. I would.
Exactly.
Yep. I'd go after them. Hey, hold on, man. We got a break. Okay. Hold on, buddy.
Oh.
Hey, folks, we'll be right back after these messages. Please stay tuned. Be right back.
My dad, he's a double amputee, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. To me, a hero is someone who fights for our country and freedom. My dad is a hero. Homes for Our Troops built this house, and it's basically made for him. My dad can get through the wide doorways. When he is making our lunch, he can reach anything we need. He'll help me build tiny projects. Life is good here. Without Homes for Our Troops, we'd be living in a home that didn't have all these features that helped him.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives.
If they get a new house like this one, it'll help them do normal life. My dad's not just a hero, he's my hero.
Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Click this link now to review my bank transfer. I didn't make a bank transfer. Ugh, another phishing message. Are you frustrated by these too? So much of our lives are online today. To make sure my information is protected, I checked out CISA's Secure Our World resources. They've got 4 simple ways we can stay safe online. First, learn to recognize and report phishing. Next, create a strong, unique password for each online account and use a password manager if you can. Then turn on multi-factor authentication for extra security, and you'll receive a code when logging in. And finally, turn on automatic software updates for convenience and safety. Click here to track my delivery. Another phishing message. But now I know how to protect myself from scammers, and you can learn too. Go to CISA at cisa.gov/secure our world for more quick, easy tips to be safer online.
Are you excited about being a new grandmother?
Of course I am. A little intimidated too.
Why?
Taking care of a baby today is so different than when I had you.
But Mom, you did great with me.
Thanks, son. But I put you on your stomach to sleep.
Right. But now we know that babies should always be placed on their backs to sleep for naps and at night to reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS.
You also slept with blankets and toys in your crib.
True. But now we know to keep everything out of the crib except for my sweet baby girl. No blankets, pillows, or other soft or loose items.
Daddy's going to teach Nana all the ways to keep you safe while you sleep. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
For more tips on safe sleep for babies, visit safetosleep.nicchd.nih.gov. That's safetosleep.nicchd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Let's get back on the air with Jamal. Welcome, Jamal. Whoops, hit the wrong button there. Okay, buddy, you're back on.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. So, yeah, I had to talk generically about that, and it was difficult to get through, but it's alive and well. And I used to be involved with a gentleman back in Southern California who directly was working against Satanism. And I can tell you a story about that. Not a big deal, but I can tell you a story about it. But it's alive and well, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. And that's another reason why I called, just in case you had some information that I was not aware of. And I see that it does, unfortunately, go pretty deep. Do you happen to have, as you know, I'm going to ask about reference tools. Do you have reference tools regarding this on your website?
Nope. No, I don't. It's okay. One of the topics I've not gotten into real deeply, and I would. I don't have a problem with it. It's just that the wheel that squeaks is what I grease. So if I don't see a real need for it immediately, if this starts coming up more and more, then I study it. But I do know that it's alive and well, unfortunately. I do know it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's bad.
Definitely. I also wanted to share a video with you. I know you want to send the link. I haven't typed the link yet. Hopefully, I'll get to it soon. There was a guy. I think his name is not Robert Morris. That's the other guy. Anyway, his name escapes me for right now. I think his name is Robert Robinson or something like that. With the Hoover Institute. He's interviewed, what's his name, Dr. Soul, and guys like that. He had a show or interview with 3 guys talking about mathematics and God. I think mathematics and Darwinism.
Yes.
See if you've heard of you guys. The panel was Stephen Meyer, Dr. Brzezinski, and Dr. Gurdonall. Have you heard those guys?
No, I know who most of them are, but go ahead.
Okay, all right, good. It was just a compelling talk about debunking some of these guys who were going against God. And Stephen Meyer, he was using mathematics to say, hey, look, there's intelligent design here. There's a mind that created us, and through looking at life in general on many different forms, you can go to a creative mind. So I wanted to bring that up to you. The guy, Stephen Meyer, he's pretty good. He seems to be a Christian because he seems to be fighting from our side. But I also wanted to let you know about his book in case you didn't know about his book. And his book is called Disproving Darwinism.
I may even have
seems
it.
to be a pretty good book.
Let me check. I have lots of books. So let's see. I can't keep track of them. Disproving. No, that's not. No, I don't have that particular one. But I do have his book, Signature in the Cell. And actually, something I'm kind of getting interested in recently is intelligent design and evidences of what's called the anthropic principle. So I'd like to be able to research that more and more too. So I had a few years ago, there was a Christian guy who was taking microbiology, and he wanted to be some weird esoteric kind of a job. And we had a whiteboard in our room. We call it the homeschool room. We had the kids homeschooled down there. Now they're gone, but we still call it the homeschool room. My wife and I. Anyway, we had this big whiteboard, like about 6 by 6. And I said, "Hey, here's some markers. Why don't you explain stuff to me?" And he did for about an hour and a half. I said, "I've got a smattering of understanding of stuff, but I'll ask you questions when I get stuck." So I was asking questions within the first 30 seconds, And this guy's going through and he's explaining things, and I remember this very distinctly as he's explaining how this works and that leads to this, which causes that, which causes this. And he's explaining all the details. And he'd been studying it for 2 years in college. And I just looked at him and I said, wait. I said, how can anyone believe that this is an accident? And he looked at me, his eyes bugged out. He says, I know. It's amazing. It is so obvious that it's designed. Without a doubt, this did not happen by chance. And it was really interesting. Remember that moment. But yeah, a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, it's amazing how this stuff isn't taught more in school. I guess I kind of know why, because of the unfortunate push against God in schools. But when you look at it, really from a scientific aspect, even a historical aspect, all the evidence points to God. And that was something else that Stephen Meyer said. He said it's kind of hard to talk about science and creation without talking about God, because if you are eliminating God, you're not really looking at it as a pure scientific kind of perspective,
right?
Because your idea is already biased. Because the scientific mind is supposed to bring in all kind of arguments, all kind of discussions. And if you're already excluding a discussion, your scientific method, so-called, is already biased.
Yep. That's right. You got a good head on your shoulders, man.
Oh, thanks. Real quick, so some time. I found the note that I was trying to find for you. Just to go through the guys real quick. Stephen Meyer, his book is Darwin's Doubt. David Brzezinski, David Brzezinski, Deniable Darwinism and Other Essays. And what was the other guy's name? David Gerlendahl, then didn't spell his name correctly. Tides of Consciousness, and the whole panel was hosted by Peter Robinson for Uncommon Knowledge from the Hoover Institute and Fox Nation.
Wow.
So I'll try to, I just put it
send
out
that to me.
there for the radio waves, but I'll try to send you, I'll try to send it to you as soon as I can.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Slick, and God bless her.
Hey, man, God bless you. Really appreciate it. Good stuff. All right. Good.
Thank you.
Okay. You know, he's brought up this issue here, and someone from Germany actually emailed me some information on intelligent design stuff, and I have to go through the material. And I love science, I always have. So I am looking for a list of, let's put it this way, I want to develop a list of facts that are science-based, science verified, that lean towards, or the best interpretation of it is a designer. You know, there are varying constants in science, in the nature of physics, and a lot of people have discussed why those constants are what they are. One of them is a gravitational constant, and it has a certain strength. And I saw an illustration once, or I read an illustration. The Milky Way galaxy, you know, is like 100,000 light years across. 100,000 light years, which means at the speed of light, 183,000 miles a second, it would take 100,000 years to cross the Milky Way galaxy from one end to the other. All right. If you were to take a line and draw a line from one end to the other, so it's 100,000 light years long. That'd be interesting how many miles it is. 100,000 light years long, and then you were to divide that line up into inches. The question then becomes, this was the illustration. If the gravitational constant would exist at a certain place, its strength, and if you were to take that line and have it be representative as the strength possibilities of the gravitational constant from really small to really high, and the one we have now, the constant we have would be in such and such a place among this line. All right, the point is, if you were to move that constant 1 inch to the right or left, life can't exist. And it has something to, and I don't know why, but this is what the article was saying. It has to do with gravity doing certain things to the sun and the gravity and moon and Earth and orbits and all this stuff. It wouldn't be able to pause. And the people go in. I got to find this stuff. I love this kind of stuff. So if you know of things like that, you should send them to me. You know, and the sources where they are. And I always like to break things down so that the average bear can understand them. That's a good illustration. That's a good illustration. And since I have a good mind for this kind of stuff, then people can send me information. I should be able to break it down and make it understandable for people. That's what I want to do. So if you know of stuff like that in books and sources, articles, and places, you can always send them to me at info@carm.org. All right. Now, an earlier caller talked about the prophet out of John 1:20-23. Well, during the break, I took a more relaxed examination of it, and I discovered something in it. So my initial comments weren't as accurate as they needed to be. But let me say this, that when it says that are you the prophet, and the Muslims say that it is the Prophet Muhammad, that's a problem, because what that's referencing is Deuteronomy 18:15, which says this: the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your countrymen. Muhammad was not a Jew. So it cannot apply to Muhammad, very simply. And furthermore, in the Quran, in Surah 551, it says, "O you who believe, take not Jews and Christians for your friends and protectors." So the Quran denounces the idea of having friends, even who are Jews. And yet, the Prophet Muhammad, supposedly from the Quran, was the one who fulfilled Deuteronomy 15, excuse me, and was that prophet. But according to the prophecy, the prophet has to be a Jew from among the countrymen of the Jews. So that could not be Muhammad. Very simple, very direct, very easy to deal with. All right. Hey, look, we are about out of time. We've got about a minute left in the show. Just want to let you know that we do stay on the air by your support. And if you'd be so kind as to consider supporting us, you can do that by going to carm.org/donate. But I'm going to tell you that we're going to revamp that page pretty soon. So if you want to send us anything, please consider doing it in the P.O. Box. That's easy to do. The P.O. Box is listed on the bottom of any and every page on the CARM site. Just go down there to P.O. Box 1353, Nampa, Idaho 83653. And so we do appreciate your support, both financially and prayerfully. Please consider praying for this ministry because we certainly need your prayer support. We really do. We really do. And I hope that you would pray. So may the Lord bless you in that, in your efforts. And, oh, by the way, I will be on tomorrow, Wednesday. I will be on the air Wednesday, but not Thursday and Friday. It's the 4th of July weekend, and we'll be taking those 2 days off. There's the music. I'm out of here. May the Lord bless you. And by his grace, we'll be back on here tomorrow, and we'll talk to you then. God bless everybody. Bye. All right, Charlie.
Should have you loud and clear here.
Good. All right. Whew.
Good questions today.
Yes, good questions. All right. Good. Information on intelligent design. I like that. No starred questions. And there's Alexander Wright with the new little one.
She's got a question. She says, is she totally depraved?
Yes.
Total depravity right here.
Hey, show the face. So let's see the tree.
Okay. Here's the face. Hello.
Oh. Wow, she looks just like you.
I know, right? Dead ringer.
Yeah, there's always plastic surgery.
Okay. Wait for you to turn a beautiful moment and just crap all over it.
Hey, that's so you like being a dad?
It's exhausting, but worth it.
The first few weeks are pretty tough adjustments and baby schedule, and then it starts regulating, and then things get a little bit better. But
yeah, she's been actually good. She's been sleeping pretty well, and not a little fussy the last couple of days, but she's going kind of through a growth spurt. So
it happens.
Yeah.
And when they start teething, and then you put your knuckle. That's why I used to do a knuckle in the mouth. Then they chew on that for a while.
Well, that's good. Yeah, we're incorporating the pacifier tomorrow, so we'll start doing the pacifier thing. But yeah, she's a cutie.
What's her name?
Selah. Like Selah in the Psalms, but we're pronouncing it Selah.
Selah.
So Selah
Nice.
Sophia.
Hey, nice. Hey, Selah. How you doing?
Hold on. She's like, "What are you doing to me?" Oh, woo, 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 woo. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, that's a big
Yeah.
one. That's a big
The
one.
squirms.
Yeah.
The squirms. Yeah, I know about those.
I know
That's
she's
really
like an
funny.
active sleeper too, you know? She's like really active these days, waking us up and stuff, rolling around.
Yeah. Wait till she wakes you up to get the car keys and money.
Well, she's talking to the wrong guy for that.
Oh man, you got to start setting it up now. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. She's fun. She got really blue eyes. I don't know if you can see the eyes, but it's kind of the camera's kind of see. There you
Nice.
go. See the eyes?
They look dark to me. Can't see the blue really.
Yeah, they're blue. It's kind of bad. They look like my eyes. Oh, now she's pooping. She just pooped.
All right, that's good.
Yeah. Matt has that effect on a lot of people.
He makes you poop. That's true.
That's right.
Sometimes he's in a debate and the guy's like, "I just pooped. I don't know what it was."
Right. Well, get rid of crap. It's just that's what it is. It's heresy. That's
That's
right.
funny. Hey, I was going to ask you, are you still doing marital counseling?
I haven't done it in a couple of years now, but I can. Why? What's up?
It's not for me. It's not for me. I have a lady called me and she needed someone for counseling, but the area she's in, I'm not really sure if I know anyone, but I was just seeing if you would still be up for something like
Is she a
that.
Christian?
I don't know. Well, yeah, she was calling about someone. I listened to the voicemail who is a Christian. So yeah, they would be Christians.
Yeah, I've counseled people over the internet before. I need a camera to see them both. They need to sit together so I can see them.
Okay. All right.
That's
Well,
how-
but are you still open for it?
yeah, whatever. But I need to see them because I need to see body language. I need to see reactions. I need to see what's going on because they often will develop these things and they become very insightful. And I'll go, wait a minute, you just blah, blah, blah. Why was that? And then that's usually something that leads to something else. You get in deep and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just wouldn't tell them anything about you. I would just say, hey, I have a friend who's a counselor. Don't look him up online.
Or who has done counseling.
Yeah, who has
Right.
done counseling. But all right, I'll talk to her and see what they say. But I just want to see if you're still up for stuff like that.
Yeah. But generally what they need to do is go to their church first. So,
Yeah, let me I don't know the church situation. I just looked at the voicemail. So let me talk to the girl, but she was looking for someone in Orlando and I don't really know anyone. So I was like, and I know that you were, open. You were doing it before and you seem to be a pretty good marriage counselor from what I hear.
I don't know. I just teach theology and require of them homework and various things. And that's it.
All right, well, I'll keep that in mind. Gosh, she just pooped again. 2 poops in my hands.
That's what it is. That's right.
Okay. Well, I want to show her off. I want to
All right.
make sure Laura and Joanne see her.
She is beautiful, Alex. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, look, she likes your voice. She's very calm.
Oh, yes, because I'm a good grandma.
Yeah. There you go.
Wonderful. What a blessing.
I know. Yeah. She's a cutie. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, she's waving.
Well, hello, precious. Hello.
Okay, now she's crying. All right. Well, I'll see you guys later.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, no problem.
God bless.
Hey, Matt, I started something. Whoops. Oh, shush, honey. I started something. I started something for you.
Oh, you started something for me. Okay. Okay, now I got to get to it. Hello?
You can't see it?
No, I have a lot of windows open.
Oh, okay. Basically, what it says is it's from Animal Lover. He says, check your
there it
email immediately.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
And I gave you a link in private chat on a really good analysis of intelligent design, some of the strengths,
Saw that too.
some of the weaknesses, and it's a thorough article.
Yeah, good, got it. Oh, excuse me. Oh yeah. Oh, that was a good yawn.
Joanne, did you get your monitor to work?
Did I get what?
The screen that you said had frozen up on you? Did it?
No, it's unplugged.
Okay.
Wait, why is it unplugged?
Can I tell him?
I was at the show yesterday, and Laura looked at it today, and she said it's messed up. The unplugged.
So
Okay.
Matt,
Did you reboot your computer?
yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you need to show it to me on a phone. You get the camera on the phone and you show it to me what's going on.
Right this minute.
No, we'll do it later. But you need to see it. But what were you going to say, Laura?
I was going to say, so if she got it hooked up and I set it up for her to, she had both the screens working. Everything was good yesterday. In the middle of the show, her new monitor froze and she couldn't even get to it. So I had her shut it off. I couldn't even get to it in the settings on one of her screens on her laptop. I couldn't even get to the settings to mess. It was just screwy. So I had her just reboot it last night, and today it still was frozen. So I just had her unplug
A monitor
it.
doesn't freeze. A monitor doesn't freeze.
Right. I'm aware of that. And
So
so
only a computer freezes.
right, but she's got it plugged into a laptop, and the laptop works just fine. The monitor was freezing. She couldn't. The mouse doesn't work over there. Nothing.
When you say freeze, that means a picture's on it and it's just staying like that. Nothing happens. It's just a picture on it.
No picture, no nothing. Black.
Okay. So, okay. Yeah.
So for the show today, just for the show today, what I had her do was unplug it because it wasn't working, just so that I could set her up to do the show today just on her laptop, because the monitor was hooked up as her number one screen.
Yeah, it needs to be done in parallel, 1 and 2. You have 2 screens, and you take the resolution on the big monitor and you bring it down, because a laptop probably won't be able to handle that. If it's locking up, it might be a processing issue inside of the laptop. So what you want to do is just get it working. You right mouse click on the. There's ways to do it inside of the laptop by going on the major screen. I can remote in and show you. All right.
Do that for her. That would be great.
All right. I can do that in a little bit here.
It worked
So let
just
me-
fine yesterday until partway
I'll
through
tell
the
you what. Let me use the restroom, and we'll close this down, and then I'll call, and I want them to put on AnyDesk, download AnyDesk on your computer, on the laptop. Okay.
She can't. She has tried.
Yeah.
Well, while you're gone, I'll get the password and send you a picture.
Password and a picture. That doesn't make sense.
For Team Viewer.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and let's end this, and then I'll call you in 5 or 10. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.